US is the biggest center for healthcare in the world. US healthcare economy is trillions of dollars a year. It's massive. Okay. I just can't overemphasize that. You are more likely to be compensated extremely well for what you do in the US in the healthcare field, than anywhere in the world. The reason is this. Hey, Augustine.
Hello.
Good to see you, man. Good to see you. Good to see you. Anyway, so I hope everything is fine.
Oh, by grace, sir. And you?
Okay. Same here. Awesome. So this is going to be what do you call it? A very interesting discussion. So to make life easier and everything for everybody. I know Augustine quite well, and I'm starting this discussion with him to actually see if I could be of help to him in terms of his career and his career choices, basically. So, Augustine, what's your question? What's the question you wanted me to help you with?
Oh, okay. So, can you hear me, please?
I can, yes.
Okay. So basically, as graduates like me, I've had communications with some of my colleagues as well, and it seems you are battling with some sort of career choice. As we evolve, we realize that our dreams are changing as time goes on. And now I want to ask my question that how we as young graduates, how do we find our career choices? Because it seems that we are now in the real world. We are no more in school, but we are done with our first degree. So how do you go about to know about our career choices if we are going to branch into our master's degree or whatsoever?
Okay, awesome. So if I may get a little bit, I would want to answer a specific question and then probably also go into general as well to benefit other people. So if I may ask, what basically is the first degree? What do you major in your first degree?
I read IT, information technology.
Okay. All right. So when you say information technology, it's quite a broad field. So information technology could be anything, software or hardware. And even if you wanted to go into the granular details, software would be a whole slew of things. Hardware could also be a whole slew of things. So can you just walk me through a little bit give me a little bit context or a little bit detail about what you did?
Okay, so basically I did both software courses and I majored in the network environment too.
Okay, networking.
I didn't do much of the hardware.
Okay, but networking you did.
Yeah.
Okay, which is a very common segment of IT. Most people do, especially in Ghana and basically the rest of Africa. I fully understand. So typically, what are the job prospects when somebody does the combination that you did? What are some of your school alumni and people that you know who took the path you chose? Which areas have they been working in?
Basically, some are data analysts, some are IT consultants, some are IT managers, some are into the networking companies, telecom companies, and yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay. That is awesome. All right. So then for you, what motivated you to enter or jump into that field? What was your motivation? Let me put it in context. In Ghana, myself included, there are times that sometimes what you want to do, you don't get to do because available slots for the things that we want to do may not be there, right? So for instance, I remember when I was going through sixth form in those times. It's this quite some years back when we had the O level and the A level, right? So I went to prepper college, and one of the things that I really wanted to do, I wanted to do electrical engineering, right? And I applied for electrical engineering at Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology. And I applied for electrical. And my second, let me see, is it my second choice? I've forgotten now. This way back, right? So I'm talking of 1996. So it's maybe a little bit closer to where you were when you were born. So I applied first choice electrical engineering. I think second choice was building technology or something like, or civil engineering. I've forgotten. And also I applied for chemical engineering as well. Now, the electrical engineering, the reason why I applied for electrical engineering, basically I didn't have much information in course choice. So I applied for electrical engineering because I heard that electrical engineering, there was money in it. So, and I did science. So, man, what a beautiful combination. I applied, I didn't get it. Not that I didn't have good grades, I have good grades. I mean, fantastic grades. But there weren't that much slots available. So they took guys who had like electrical engineering was a class full of people who had physics, chemistry, mathematics, AA in them, in their A levels, right? So the only school offering electrical engineering at degree level at that time was Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology. It's not like other countries where there are thousands of schools that you could choose from. So I understand. So just to put it in context, did you do IT because you enjoyed doing, that was your first choice, that was your first love, or you just found yourself in there? What was it? Tell me about it.
Well, basically, it wasn't my first choice. It wasn't my first choice. But after
what would have been your first choice?
I wanted to offer computer science or
computer science.
Yeah.
Okay, you wanted to do computer science instead.
Yeah.
Okay. And what did you have in mind? What did you have in mind as far as computer science was concerned? What did you have in mind at that time? If you were giving computer science, what would you have had in mind? Augustine, are you there? Augustine? Oh, yeah. He's back. He is back. Thank God. So, what would you have in mind? What would you have had in mind if you were offered computer science?
Developing something on my own.
Okay. Okay. So basically, if you had your way, you would have gone more into software development. Is that what you said?
So yeah, I wanted to branch into the medical engineering field. But then later, things went different ways and I had to move to the IT sector.
That's fine. Okay. Wow. Now, then I bring my question back again. So, why medical engineering?
I actually enjoy medical documents, medical reviews. I enjoy it. So I think I had an interest in it. So I wanted to dive into it and see if not to see, but then to offer it as a career choice.
Awesome! Wow! That's awesome. So you are one of those people that you are comfortable in a healthcare environment. Is that what it is?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Wow. I was the opposite. Okay. So now it's like onion. We are peeling the onion gradually. All right. So I think where you currently are, you are not really far off from what you want to really do. You're not really far off at all. So you did IT, and yes, you have some knowledge about hardware. You have some knowledge about software a little bit here and there. You have some networking ability as well, some skills, IT networking as well. I think they will all come in handy. And the good thing is that you are so young, So that is going to be very, very helpful in the sense that you could actually segue into what you really want. It's just that we need to figure out what's the best way to get to your destination. You know, as a matter of fact, it's not about who gets there first. It's about who eventually gets there. So if you get there, that is the most important thing. Okay. So that in the medical field, I was the opposite. I didn't want to have anything to do with healthcare. Nothing. I think I did the old regime of education in Ghana. So the O levels and the A level. I intentionally failed biology so that I wouldn't be forced to enter into medicine or anything medical, right? Because my entire family, everybody, all the ones who did science did biology, right? And they were in the health area, radiology area, nursing, this, that. I knew I had the head for it. One of my brothers even did. He did what? Biochemistry. I hated anything. So I basically flunked my biology in O level, and I got the highest mark in math. So I did physics, chemistry, math in Prempeh College, and I went on to read building technology at Tech. So one thing led to another. I pursued further studies in the UK, became a chartered accountant, and eventually relocated to the States, where I did. Where I worked. The second company I worked for was a healthcare company, healthcare supply chain, Broadlane Group. That was the name of the company in Dallas, Texas. So I accidentally found myself in healthcare, which I hated. So we did healthcare supply chain, and then I had a foray into where I actually had the opportunity or had a taste of software development and software things was basically in that company, right? So my boss had left at that time, and I was about to leave. He actually was poaching me to his competing company, and my previous company, or Broadlane at that time, wouldn't let me go. So I was offered the opportunity to be mentored by the chief operating officer, who also was the chief information officer. And one of the negotiations that I did was, okay, if I'm going to stay, I'm not going to stay because of the money or anything. I want to stay. If you want me to stay, then you have to agree that you will mentor me. Then I will stay. So he agreed. So he put me on one of the big software projects the company was doing at that time. It was probably about more than $10 million budget that we were working on. And this was healthcare supply chain, healthcare information system that we designed. So that's when I really got my head into the field of healthcare technology, right? Yeah. So fast forward, the company was acquired into a bigger competitor called MedAssets, and I transitioned into MedAssets. So when I realized that, wow, the whole space is huge, then eventually I ended up getting more into contract negotiation and the legal side of business, which was fun, and also the clinical side of business. So we write contracts, massive, you're talking of millions of dollars, sometimes billions of dollars, especially in contracts regarding cardiology or anything involving the heart, right? And then anything involving bones, orthopedics, and cardiology, and then wound care. Those are very, very big healthcare areas when it comes to spending money, right? So I got to know firsthand what healthcare tech can do, and it's amazing. So I think we need to zero in on, if we want to go into healthcare tech, there are broadly, in my mind, two broad areas: the engineering side, right, and then the software side. So which one to you? The engineering side is basically like, if you've been to hospital before, I know you have, or maybe you are young. So if you've been to hospital before, so let's pick an example. So when you go, they check your blood pressure, right?
Yeah.
They put a cuff on your arm, and then the nurse will press something, it will tighten your muscle, and then they read the blood pressure, right? Okay. And then if they want to check for blood sugar, right, instantaneous blood sugar, they can just poke a hole in your finger and just take a small sample and then test for blood sugar, right? So all those things are devices that are what do you call it, produced by engineers. So that is a field of engineering that is available, right? Okay. Then they also have a field that is software based, where you're writing software in the area, let's say electronic health records is a big thing, right? So basically, you wouldn't want if let's say somebody is sick and they go to the hospital. Sometimes it takes long, or sometimes it takes a while for them to go and retrieve the person's folder from the folder room and go and put it on the doctor's desk. And then when the doctor finishes, a nurse has to pick it, and then they have to go and put it back into the filing room. All these things are manual stuff, and sometimes they get missing, right?
Yeah.
So if the next time you go, let's say you went to hospital in January and you go back in June and your file is missing. So it means that all the relevant records are missing. So to make sure that this is avoided, hospitals rely on electronic health records. So that is also an area. I'm just giving examples. It's not an exhaustive list. So when you look at the engineering side and when you look at the software side, right?
Yeah.
Which ones appeal to you the most and why?
Basically the software side, because I offer programming in the IT field.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
Okay.
that would help.
Okay. All right. Then let's go a little bit deeper into that side. So one application is electronic health records, which is a big deal. There are big companies that do that already, but there are also opportunity for small startups and medium-sized companies to enter that space. Anybody who is listening, right, who is interested in the engineering side, there's also opportunities there. I mean, massive opportunities, because a few years back, I was trying to get a healthcare supply chain business, healthcare supply chain business going on in Ghana here to cater for the entire African market. It was very massive, ambitious goal, which is very possible. And one of the challenges that we noticed was that most of the equipment in the healthcare space, so we are talking of X-ray machines, MRI, CT scans, what do you call it? These are the big ones, and lab equipment and those kind of things, chemistry analyzers, blah blah blah, so many things. When they break down, typically there were not enough talent in Ghana to fix those things. So I remember, I had contacts with the heads for sales in Africa for GE Healthcare, Philips Healthcare, right?
Yeah.
And Toshiba. So one of the things that GE and Philips and Co did was that they will sell the equipment to you. After sales service, if anything happened to the equipment, after sales service is going to be taken care of by engineers from Turkey and Israel and India. There weren't local talent available. And this is as early as 2017. Okay. So, and those kind of guys, they get paid, man, a ton of money. And it's crazy, because that is a gray area that most young Africans are not aware of. So I just wanted to chip in that. Okay. So let's get back to the software side. So the software side too, there is an area that you can be creative. You can be creative in terms of presenting solutions to hospitals within Ghana, because the problems that African hospitals are facing are going to be extremely or very different from problems that hospitals in other developed countries would face, right? So, yes, so you're going to have to look at things and be a little bit more creative at current solutions that can solve. So yeah, without much without rambling on too long, the other areas in software that can be looked at is we call something decision support. I would be very surprised if there's a hospital in Ghana that has a decision support system. So basically it's a software or a package that aggregates data, clinical data. Let's say clinical data basically coming out of the electronic health records, right? So so we look at, okay, this patient has diabetes. This patient's ages, maybe they are 61. The family has a history of diabetes. He lives in this area, this part of town. He comes from this tribe, that kind of thing. All this kind of data, right? And they use some kind of AI to do some kind of predictive analysis to see that, okay, this patient has diabetes. What's the chances that this diabetes may progress and cause more harm? And what are some of the interventions that we can put in place to prevent that from happening? Although that's just a tiny example of what decision support can do. But it's basically more of getting into data mining and AI, big data kind of thing in healthcare. So that's also another area that you can look at. Then a third area you can look at also is healthcare expenditure, healthcare spend. Right? The spend in healthcare, that's a major headache because the spend in healthcare can be crazy in terms of the moving parts, the type of spend. So you're looking at everything from cleaning services, those who come, or how the blankets and the sheets are cleaned, to how the disinfectants they use to disinfect the hospital, to all the way buying an MRI machine, everything in between, right? So all the spend, how do you manage the spend in such a way that the hospital is not spending too much money or wasting money in terms of the expenditure compared to what the market is offering? And also, how do you put in place checks and balances to make sure that they are not theft and all those kind of things, inventory control system? So you see that there are a whole slew of areas that software can make healthcare very, very simple, right? Or very efficient. Then the last area I can also think about is CRM, the customer relationship management in healthcare. So how you can have applications that will go and actually help patients book appointments digitally. And then after they've come for that appointment, they get followed up with text messages, with voice messages, with even emails, right? So if they need to take some medication at a certain time, they can be alerted that, okay, Eric or Lucy, you're supposed to take amoxicillin tablet at this time, So right when you're supposed to take it, then it sends you the notification. And then also sometimes when people are discharged from hospital, when they get discharged from hospital, you realize that at that point, that's when they are most vulnerable. So the final example is when patients are discharged after an operation and they come home. That point, and a follow-up system can follow them up to make sure that they are taking their medications, they are doing the things. Maybe they need to walk maybe 10 minutes a day. That system that can follow them up to make sure that they are doing that, right? And the likes. There's so many applications there, And then also there's a big area in healthcare that has to do with Internet of Things, IoT devices. So now you can sit at home and get your own personalized blood pressure machine or blood pressure cuff. Anytime you put it on and you measure your blood pressure or your blood sugar, that result is transferred via an app to a portal where your doctor can have access to it. you get a point. Yeah. So all these kind of remote things is software driven, So it's something that you can look into. So basically, in terms of the area, it's wide. When you're looking at healthcare, is a massive area, but I know it's a highly overlooked area in Africa. And I think if you can find a path to get into healthcare, I think that would be that area of healthcare. I think that would be great. So now let's talk about how do you get it. So in your little research, what have you found so far in terms of pursuing that? What do you need to do? Are there universities in Ghana that you can enroll, or would you have to travel outside the country to do that? I don't have much information, so educate me on that.
Well, basically, I've not checked of universities in Ghana yet, but then I've seen some schools outside. Example is Austria.
Okay.
They were requesting for a background knowledge in database programming and some other fields, which are basically into the IT sector I majored in. So
Yes.
I think in my master degree, I think I can offer this healthcare informatics for me to divert into the sector.
Okay. Wow. I think it's a good area if you're actually looking for healthcare, right? Yes, Austria is good, and okay. So I'm going to default to think that because it's Austria, tuition fees is going to be free.
Okay.
Is that? I mean, check that. But I'm thinking. I know Germany offers some kind of program. I can't really confirm whether that's the case today, where you do your postgraduate studies in Germany and it's free. I know Norway also does something like that. So I'm just being tempted to think that having a postgraduate study in Austria, you could get that for free, because that is very important. Okay, that is very, very important. Now, if you're going to go to Austria, then this would be my recommendation. If Austria is the approach that you take, this would be my recommendation. Yeah, and it's based solely on this. US is the biggest center for healthcare in the world. US healthcare economy is trillions of dollars a year. It's massive. Okay, I just can't overemphasize that. You are more likely to be compensated extremely well for what you do in the US in the healthcare field, than anywhere in the world. The reason is this. US healthcare system is based on private health insurance. So there's a lot of money flowing into healthcare in the US than anywhere in the world. Whether it's efficient or whether the healthcare, whether the volume of money that flows into the US healthcare system is efficient and good use of money or not, that's for another discussion. But currently, the private health insurance system is what drives US healthcare. And the private health insurance system is very strong. Therefore, there's a lot of money in US healthcare. So my recommendation is where to work or where to get, where you position yourself will be US if healthcare is what you're thinking about. Okay. Now, other people may argue against that, blah, 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 but look, that is the truth. European companies have great healthcare systems, but they practice what we call socialized medicine, right? So they tax the people, and then they use the taxes to pay for people's healthcare. And at that rate, healthcare companies are not reimbursed or paid back what they do at a higher rate. They are paid at a lower rate because it's the government that is paying you. In the US, it's private healthcare, massive, right? Although they have a government component, there's the whole called the Medicare and Medicaid. That forms a significant part of the healthcare system in the US. But overall, the private health insurance is extremely strong in the US. Okay. Hey, Augustine, your network is gone again, but let's bring you back. The discussion is getting more and more exciting. Right. So whilst we're waiting on Augustine, if you want to be the next person to sit in the seat for Instagram Live to talk about your career and your prospects, you can DM me, and we'll get it sorted out. And also you can also check my YouTube channel. It's called Isaac Osekisi. Right, you just type Isaac Osekisi in there, you find me there, where I talk about career and business development for young new graduates, how to get you employed, even in the toughest job market, all the strategies and things that you need to know. No matter how tough the job market is, I have the strategies and tips to help you get a job. That in any given market, it doesn't even matter. All right. So let's see what. So Augustine basically is we're digging a bit deeper. So he was concerned that what he wanted to do in life, he's deviating a little bit off of it in terms of career, but we're trying to bring him to his core, which is his area of passion. So my advice to everyone is, look, pursuing any academic venture is difficult. It's extremely difficult. So you better do something that you love. Don't do something because of the money, but do something that you love, and then you'll find a way to make money out of it. That's the theory. Else you're going to be frustrated. So let's help Augustine out, and then maybe in the course of the week we help somebody else out. Okay, yay, he's back again. Okay, so Augustine, we were talking about the Austria program, right?
Yeah.
So I want you to look at those schools, look at those institutions that you can study for free. It's very important, right? And if you can study for free, then I would take it up a notch. If you can get a master's program done in healthcare informatics, which is a great area, right? So that will lead you straight into things like decision support, artificial intelligence, big data analysis in healthcare. That's fantastic. If you do that, I would top it up a notch. I would always look to get into the U.S. market, to get U.S. healthcare experience. And I've enumerated the reason why. Yeah. Because U.S. spends so much money in healthcare. They spend so much money in research, or there's so much cash available for research in healthcare in the United States than possibly anywhere. Maybe Israel may be a close second. But so in terms of healthcare innovation, there's no country that would beat the U.S. No, none, because of the money that pours into it. So my recommendation would be, if you can find a place that you can do health informatics in Europe or anywhere, right? Yeah. Then you put it at the back of your mind that you want to do a PhD program. You want to do a PhD program, but you apply to do a PhD program in the US. In that case, you'll be able to, if you plan things, you'll be able to get a scholarship to do a PhD program in the US, whereby, like I interviewed one gentleman on my podcast and YouTube channel recently, where I think if you are watching this, you need to watch that video or listen to that podcast, where I interviewed a young man who's from Ghana, and he's currently studying at NYU, New York University, one of the top universities in the world. And he pursued 2 master's programs, and he's currently doing his PhD. And all these 3 degrees, he got them on a scholarship, right? Full scholarship. So, and he shared how that happened, how he got a scholarship program. So what he did, basically, he spelled everything out, that you have to find a way that you can align what you want to do with as an existing school. Maybe there's a faculty that is doing a research in maybe informatics or data informatics or whatever in developing countries, right? And you are from a developing country. So you contact the professor in that school that this is a program you want to do, and you want, so what are the available financing options that you'll be able to benefit from if you were to get the opportunity to enroll in that program. And he did it, and he got 3 scholarships. So you get a free master's done, right? In anywhere that you can get it, and then get a PhD in that area. And the PhD you have to do in the US. What will happen is that once you do the PhD in the US, guess what? You are going to have the opportunity to have solid work experience in the US. And financially, it will be extremely rewarding. Then after a while, you can decide to come and set up your own consultancy practice in Africa to help other people, right? Or you may never know. You may end up coming to build a massive hospital in Ghana and that kind of thing, because you'll be so rich. I mean, life will be better, right? Life will be better for you, and you do it that way. Right? The other option is you take your time, research, try to see if you can get some kind of a scholarship to do your master's in the US, and then you pursue a PhD program in that field. I think either way, for me, for healthcare, look at US because of the insurance, the private insurance system. Yeah.
All right.
So yeah. So what's your takeaway or your assignment? Or so far, what do you think of what we've said?
I think it's excellent. Basically, you have knowledge in the healthcare sector, and you giving me a little bit of advices really helps, and it has broadened my scope of mind right now. And I think it's really going to help me advance in life. Yeah.
Okay. So what I would want you to do will be within the next 30 days or so, begin to research institutions that are good in that healthcare informatics area. So research both Europe, research in Austria, Norway, Germany, because Austria and Germany, they are very similar. They are almost like one country, right? So research the area and also research some in the US as well. You'll be surprised. I know Baylor University may be doing a program like that. I would also check a school like Vanderbilt in Tennessee. Because there's a part in Tennessee that's like a medical field. I think is it Memphis or Nashville? I think it's in Memphis, if I'm not mistaken. They do a lot of healthcare programs because there's big hospitals like a medical park where they have the what's the name of this hospital? Is it St. Jude Healthcare, which is the biggest children's hospital I think in the U.S. And in that enclave, there are other hospitals, big hospitals, and they are teaching hospitals, and I think Vanderbilt will be in that area. So look into that. There are a lot of schools. I think a lot of schools. I know, and there are a lot of health systems that partner with schools to do some of these things. So the next 30 days, begin to look at them. Take baby steps and believe and have confidence that. Opportunities, if opportunities open for others, you too, you deserve for opportunities to open up for you. Have that belief, have that confidence that the favor of God will go with you, and it will end well. Awesome. I think we are done now. So, as I said, hey, if you're watching this and you need to hop on the 25-minute call, this has gone a little bit over 25 minutes because of the technical challenges that we had. But if it's you have questions and stuff like that, hey, I'll be more than happy to DM me, and then we'll get it done. Or once this is posted on my YouTube channel, there will be a link in there that you can schedule your live session, and we'll get it rolling. All right. Thank you so much for your time, Augustine.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. Awesome. Bye now.
Bye.